The Japanese live closer to the changing seasons. With no space to grow enough food for all, Japanese cuisine distilled instead the very best from nature and made it beautiful. To truly eat well, they believe, you must open all your senses, become aware of the world around you, and gently enhance it. With nothing stronger than a golden stock. This is Dashi. It is the bedrock of Japanese cuisine. It is not concocted, they believe, but drawn out from the very stuff of nature. And its essential ingredients are gathered from the cold and warm seas and from the humid forests that cover much of Japan. Dashi is a distillation of the natural resources of Japan, the essence of its very nature. Kyoto is where the flavors in every dish are believed to be subtler than everywhere else. For over 1,000 years, the emperor resided in this ancient capital. Produce from the length and breadth of the Japanese archipelago was transported to the imperial court. And here, dashi was drawn into being. Many of Japan's finest restaurants are in Kyoto. Here, the ancient traditions are preserved. And the first ritual of the morning is the drawing of fresh water from the well, so that the preparation of dashi may begin. Hiroyuki Kato is considered among the finest chefs in Japan. Unusually, he does not come from a long family line of chefs, but has mastered his technique from scratch, imbuing his dashi with his own alchemy of flavor. He begins by immersing the most select konbu kelp in fresh water. Glutamic acid in the kelp is released and acts by stimulating our taste buds so that a fifth, more sophisticated level of taste is invoked, which the Japanese call umami. Umami evokes well-being and delicious nourishment. The master chef keeps a careful eye on his simmering broth and skims off the frothy scum from its surface.
私がいつも思うのは、目で味見をする。味が出てる、あ、旨味が出てるなっていうことは、やはり舌でも分かるけども、それ以上に分かるのは目であるということだと思います。
He aims for a clear, pale golden color without a trace of cloudiness. When he's satisfied with the appearance and the aroma, he must taste. In Chef Kato's particular alchemy, it takes about an hour to achieve the full flavor he's seeking from the simmering konbu. Konbu kelp flourishes in shallow waters in the colder northern seas around Hokkaido. Ice forms in the winter and is drawn by nature's tides in and out of the shore. The ice floes are in perpetual motion back and forth, performing an unexpected cull of a vital natural resource. Konbu grows by absorbing nutrients from the seawater through its long leaf-like blades. The ice flows dislodge the weakest kelp from their mooring on underwater rocks. In this way, only the stronger plants flourish. They feed on the nutrients provided by plankton trapped in the ice and grow full-bodied and flavorsome. On the wild shores of the northern tip of Japan's archipelago, ferocious sea storms wash precious natural flotsam ashore. In summer, Yori Fujimoto migrates from her winter lodgings here, far from civilization, to make a living from gathering konbu as her ancestors did before her. She's 89 years old.
好きないと流れてこない。なんぼ天気が悪いくてもダメだし、やっぱり風が波がないと乗らないもの。まあいい昆布ではないけど、するっていうか、まあ中にいい昆布もあるから。
It's a tough life close to nature. She lives it alone, in a hut with no electricity or running water. Here she dries the konbu she's gathered, in the company of her two faithful dogs. It's so very wild on these northern shores that she must always be prepared for unexpected visitors.
ここら辺熊ものすごく出るとこだ。お金って言うわね。俺らとお金どうってする。
She carries the wisdom of her ancestors. A brown bear, she knows, won't kill you unless it feels threatened. Never would Yori Fujimoto upset the balance of nature in these parts, which she so depends upon. Closer to civilization, fishermen set out to sea on their small boats. They're permitted to harvest konbu kelp for a limit of 3 to 4 hours a day. The Japanese acquired their acute awareness of the scarcity of natural resources many centuries ago and are careful to prevent over-harvesting. Toshikatsu Miura knows where the best konbu grows. This is vital knowledge. The earnings he makes seasonally accounts for half of his annual income. The fishermen scour the deep for mature konbu. Miura can distinguish the prize harvest by judging the thickness and color of the blades growing from its stem-like stipes. Konbu has a 2-year life cycle. This is a baby konbu. It's 5 microns in size and swims using fine hairs called flagella. When it reaches a rock, it anchors itself by putting down roots and starts to grow several centimeters a day. Year-old konbu is too soft for human consumption and trade. It does not keep well even when dried, and the natural flavor remains undeveloped. By limiting harvesting time and restricting it to 2-year-old konbu, the Japanese preserve their vital forests of kelp, and controlled harvesting also prunes the denseness of the seaweed, encouraging sunlight to reach down to the sea floor, fostering growth of the younger algae, and maintaining a diverse ecosystem. Sea urchins graze on while these tiny clingfish have suckers that hold fast to the konbu for protection. So the careful husbanding of these konbu forests allow the fishermen and these small sea creatures to coexist in a mutually beneficial ecosystem. Like Grandma Yuri, fisherman Miura migrates for the summer work. But he doesn't come alone. This is 10-year-old Kosin and his brothers. Far from city ways, the whole family contributes in the summer to subsistence. A lot of diverse labor is required to wash, dry, pack, and ship the thick and heavy konbu. 3 generations lend a hand, despite onerous conditions, created by the gas-filled bladders that keep the konbu afloat. It's too much for the boys.
匂いが
あ
わかる匂いね
匂いが
片付けてる時なんかくっせー
なんかね、匂いっていうかずっと、気持ち確かに
吐きそうだよね
気持ち悪い吐きそうにはなる。
The weather is unsettled and can change very suddenly on the shores of Hokkaido. The scenery is radically transformed with each new change. The boy's grandmother can forecast vital conditions by studying her surroundings.
山だねやっぱりガスとかさ黒い雲来たら雨とかさなんとなくそれ昔からのあれねだからそこの詐欺のあれも山見るねやっぱしこれ風もそこさ風俺で来たからいいわとかさ日々に来るわとかなんとかそんな感じだね。
On the evening that Grandma judges the mist and damp will hold for a while, the family begins the process of converting the inedible seaweed into food. They take the konbu that has previously been dried and lay it out on the beach again.
「今日いいんでねこれ少し自力してるし湿度が多いからなんとかなんでねこれ早くにすんでね締めに。
The moisture in the night dew dampens the konbu. The gas-filled bladders crack, releasing their noxious contents, which evaporate. This process for removing the konbu's putrid ocean smell is part of the wisdom that has been handed down through the generations of these sea foraging people.
いい匂い出てくるやっぱり香りがだからやっぱりそれだけ旨味が出てきてるってことね香りが出てくるってことね。
And there's no hastening the delicate procedure. Dousing with water or rain won't do. Nothing but mist and night dew will unleash the process by gently massaging the konbu. The partially processed konbu is then shipped to storage to continue its long maturation process for between 2 and 5 years. Once the ocean smell has truly been eradicated, the konbu arrives in Kyoto. In one of the famed traditional Japanese restaurants of Gion, the konbu kelp has been steeped for an hour to draw out its umami. The arcane chemistry of the kitchen has done its work, and now the liquid is rich in glutamic acid.
昆布だけだとやっぱりこのお口の中に入れたらやはりこう旨味がまだ物足りないんですよね。頼んないんですよね。だからそこに補いすカツオというものが大切な役割になってきます。
Dried bonito is added to the konbu kelp dashi. Since bonito fish resemble the shape of a sword, the Japanese call them katsuo, meaning victory fish. For centuries, dried bonito has been shaved with a special blade into a box fixed underneath to catch the flakes, imbued with the aroma of sea and sunshine. It's quite literally the hardest foodstuff in the world and is rich in inosinic acid. An essential component of umami.
で2つが掛け合って出会いのものでね合わさってうまみが生まれてイコールお出汁ができると。
Science has shown that when the umami substances connect, the glutamic acid in the plant-based konbu kelp and the inosinic acid in the dried bonito act upon one another, and their combined flavor is rendered deeper and more complex. Bonito is a migratory fish that spawn and grow near the equator and migrate northwards in the summer through Japanese coastal waters. A large catch is possible, but the fish spoil easily, so few countries fish bonito commercially. But in Japan, 300 years before refrigerated cargo ships, 3 enterprising fishermen invented a method to dry bonito. On the southwestern tip of the island of Kyushu, the town of Makurazaki is famed for this ancient craft. There, the air is always hazy with the smoke used to preserve bonito. The bonito auction begins at 6 o'clock in the morning. There are 50 establishments in Makurazaki that manufacture dried bonito. Fewer and fewer are family concerns. Among the handful of families in the business, Imakire is known as a master in the production of dried bonito. He's one of only 10 artisans left who precariously defy modern economies of scale and make the highest quality dried bonito using the old-fashioned method. For a month, the filleted fish chosen from the finest bonito is carefully smoked until it deepens in color. The smoked bonito is then placed in a humid room where it naturally attracts mold. The mold filaments grow, decomposing the bonito flesh.
やっぱカビですね。いい製造者はいいカビをずっと持ち続けて、いいカビが来たやつを室の中で繁殖させていくと、そこに自然といいカビ菌は住み着くわけですよね。で住み着いたところでもそれを大事にやっぱし育てていくわけですよね。
The expert craft of drying bonito requires the careful husbanding of mold. It's only on the clearest of days that Imakire will risk moving his precious mold-sheathed bonito into the open air. But it's a critical part of the process.
天日の力で干すことによってそのカビは一回ギュッと閉じ込められて、その次にまた2番カビ3番カビで取っていくわけですけど、その時に来るカビがまたいいのが来るか来ないかっていうのもその干すタイミングなんかでも違ってきますね。早すぎてもいけないし、遅すぎるのが一番良くないですね。いいカビも拗ねちゃうんですよね。悪くなっちゃうんですよね。いいですね。でこう触ると分かると思うんですけど、さらっとでも全然お白いですね。天花粉あんな感じのカビですよ。ちゃんと育ってくれたって感じですね。
The whole procedure of letting the mold take hold and then drying the bonito out in the sun is repeated 4 times or more. This stage in the intricate proceedings is more than 6 months in the making, during which the moisture in the bonito plummets to less than 8%. The flavor is crucially enhanced. Imakire checks the development of the process the way his ancestors learned.
枯れ具合が悪いと低い鈍い音ですね。でもうこれ仕上がってるとこなんですけど、澄んだキンキンというこれもあとまだ1ヶ月ぐらい、最低でも1ヶ月ぐらいあれしないといけないですね。もうちょっとですね。高い澄んだ音がしますよね。もうちょっとでしょ。なんか子供の楽器にしてほしいみたいですね。してほしいぐらいですね。ルビー色のですね、琥珀色の。
The mold breaks down the protein and fat in bonito and converts them into an umami substance. The bonito flesh becomes glassy and polished, resembling a semi-precious gem.
魚じゃないですよね。もうこう魚の味が脱却して違った、もう本当こうなんていうんですか、そんな感じがします。
is taken and filleted, then gently simmered and cured with fine smoke. And finally, with the help of a little mold, it is transformed into dried bonito. And dashi is the subtle alchemical substance that transforms the ordinary into the exquisite. We must visit the temple to understand why dashi became the cornerstone of Japanese cuisine. Buddhism arrived in Japan about 1,500 years ago. Its philosophy forbids the destruction of life. After embracing Buddhism, the imperial court issued edicts prohibiting the production and consumption of meat. This spread from nobles and samurai, eventually to the population at large. And it was strictly enforced. Famished, the Japanese quickly sought other sources of umami. And they found it in dashi. In Sojiji, the principal Zen temple in Japan, the monks follow strictly formalized rituals each day. As part of their training, young monks are assigned for a 3-month period to a Tenzo Zen master. The Tenzo is responsible for preparing meals and occupies an important position in the temple. Over generations, Tenzos have invented dishes using dashi to substitute meat. 800 years ago, the founder of this temple advocated a revolutionary philosophy, which included strict precepts on the preparation of food. He pronounced the existence of a shadow taste. This taste does not assert itself, but enhances the nature of other tastes, of sweetness and bitterness, of salty and sour. This notion later became associated with dashi. Since dried bonito is made from fish, strict temple custom prescribes its addition to dashi. The monks use shiitake mushrooms instead. They contain guanilic acid, which when combined with the properties of konbu kelp, magnify the umami, or deliciousness of the dashi. Tsubokawa, the temple Tenzo, knows their vital properties.
やっぱり、おひたし煮物はねどうしてもしいたけは必要ですけども、オリエントからあれば何でも美味しくできます。
70% of Japan's landmass is mountainous and covered in dense tracts of forest. Deep in the tangled woods lives Kuniko Shiba. She's the keeper of the knowledge of her ancestors in the art of cultivating precious shiitake mushrooms. She's 90 years old. All her wisdom is drawn from the trees. So Grandma Kuniko treats them with respect. She must sample the sap before deciding on whether the time is ripe to cultivate.
やっぱここあたりも甘いですよ。
The sweetness of the sap suggests that nutrients have returned. Conditions are favorable for promoting the growth of Grandma Kuniko's delicate mushrooms. But she must listen carefully to catch the flow of the honeyed sap.
やっぱ少しはまだ音が聞こえる。少し言うけど、このくらいは大丈夫だからね。もう倒していいとね。
It's possible that it's not the flow of sap she hears, but rather the whisper of forest leaves or the rush of the wind. Or perhaps, as her ancestors believed, the voice of the forest. From generations before her, Grandma Kuniko learned that to survive, and for the good of the forest, she must fell the trees and set them ablaze. Today, the ancient procedure has been given the blunt name of slash and burn. And now the magic of the forest is revealed. Mushroom spores, like fairy dust, settle on the fresh incisions in the wood. There, they begin to propagate and grow.
はいや、こらすごいよ。もう腐ってもおるけど。ほら、ほら、これ一度にこんな。焼けても菌が入るとだからね、菌が。
Grandma Kuniko's ancestors learned that reducing forests to ash brought forth forest bounty. Today we understand that the ancient technique effectively sterilizes the tree stumps, facilitating the growth of fragile filaments from the mushroom spores.
「ホタがいる」っつってこっちでは言う。菌がいったことをホタがいったとかボタがいったとか中ように呼びますよ、方言では。だからホタがいったからこんなものもこれは何種類でも生えるでしょうが。焼いてしまうと畑には何もないと思うけどね、そうじゃない。焼き畑にがこんなものが生えるとだもん。いっぱいそれが。
The forest people have developed a method they call natame. By notching the trunk of trees with an axe, they attract the fungus spores floating in the forest air. Over time, they discovered that trees that were cut when the sap ran sweet grew plentiful mushrooms. But when the tree was cut too soon, it lacked sufficient nutrients to sustain the cultivation of the mushrooms. While if it were cut too late, it secreted protective substances that that made the reproduction of mushroom spores more difficult. So ancient knowledge serves Grandma Kuniko well. She will lick the trees and listen to their secrets. And her precious fungi will be carefully picked and dried. They will call forth umami, but also contribute to the vital regeneration of the forests, and so too of the mountains. Trees that are cut at a precise time will sprout new shoots. The sweet nutrients that are released from the tree stump become the energy to power the development of new life. The Sojiji temple chef, the Tenzo, begins preparations for the daily meals every day at 3 a.m.
総理の場合はお腹を満たすのが目的じゃありませんから、やはり我々の命をつなぐ上でやはりいろんな食材の命をいただいて、我々の命をつないでいって修行の、一端になりますんで、材料の良し悪しじゃなくてやっぱりね、それを全部生かしてあげるのが天童の仕事らしい。
Their main meal consists of 1 bowl and 3 small dishes, the very minimum to sustain life. Only after they chant the sutra thanking the plants for giving up their lives may they begin to eat. For modern-day young men used to a diet of meat proteins, adjusting is an ordeal.
もう最初はもうお腹が空きすぎて寝れないとか、本当に食べ物のことしか頭になくて、道に生えてる草でも食べようかなって思うぐらいお腹が空きました。すごく敏感にその出汁の味とか、甘い味とか苦い味とか感じるようにはなったと思います。特にこの騒動は人と話せないですし、本当に食材と自分というものだけなので。
Austerity and asceticism have sharpened his sense of taste. Zen teaches compassion for all sentient beings. We exist because others exist around us. So the meal ends with a significant ritual. The monks place a drop of dashi on their palm, then soak 7 grains of rice in it, which they will proffer to the birds. The words engraved on the pedestal of this ancient bird table hopes that this meal will make a contribution to all the lives in the world. Japanese cuisine was developed on the foundations of Zen philosophy. And 100 years ago, umami was stumbled upon. That 5th taste the Japanese call deliciousness. The discovery was the result of scientific research into konbu dashi. Today, Kyoto University professor Toru Fushiki works at the cutting edge of this research on taste. He discovered that even after consuming enough nutrients, laboratory mice kept lapping up the dried bonito dashi he used for experimental purposes and appeared to crave more and more. He concluded that this craving replicated a condition that is commonly found in relation to fats and sugars.
油砂糖だしの蜜に関してはもっと食べたいっていう食べるごとに好きになっていくとそういう特殊な効果があります。それを我々は病みつきになっているというふうに表現してるんですけど、でこれは人間もネズミもほとんど変わりないんです。それは多分生きていく上で大事なタンパク質が豊富に存在するとそういうシグナルになってるんだろうと思います。
But when it comes to Japanese cuisine, which has developed without oil or sugars, the craving for dashi and its umami have a healthier impact.
だしの美味しさを好きになったら際限なく何かカロリーを取ってしまうっていうわけじゃなくて、むしろ食事を日本風の非常に健康的な低カロリーで低脂肪の食を食べたいと思うようになるという意味では、だしの美味しさだけは病みつきになる成分の中で最も健康に近いというふうに考えることができると思います。
And for the Japanese, it all starts with breakfast. A paste made from fermented soya beans is dissolved in warm dashi to make miso soup. So the addiction to dashi is established, turning their palates away from meat proteins and sugars, for example, and attracting them to a diet low in calories. Western culinary development of nouvelle cuisine and slimline cuisine minceur has been deeply inspired by the Japanese approach to food. In the old days, the first thing Japanese babies tasted after their mother's milk was dashi. This 6-month-old baby is about to sample solids for the first time. His mother strains the most crystalline liquid dashi first. Then gently cooks rice in it. She's naturally concerned for her baby's nutrition and healthy growth. and she knows that what a child eats in the first few years will shape their natural appetite for the rest of their lives. Some say the influence of gastronomy on national tastes does much to shape the world. And in Kawakami, Gyeon's premier Japanese restaurant, food that is intrinsically pure is prepared every day for highly evolved palates. Making the most of seasonal offerings of the highest quality, using the utmost culinary artistry, probably gave rise to the traditional formal Japanese meal, with its many small courses, each a work of art on which much time and thought is spent. But at the base of almost all these dishes is dashi. And only the best chefs can draw it from nature and master subtle and deceptively simple ways with it. This dish combines sesame seeds and dashi. By adding the strained stock to the mortar and pestle while grinding the seeds to paste, the taste and aroma of the sesame seed is vastly enhanced. Washoku, or Japanese cuisine, can be best encapsulated in a much-used aphorism. Let little seem like much, as long as it is fresh and bountiful. And at the heart of one of Kawakami's traditional and formalized multi-course meals, they serve a soup called owan. It is simplicity itself.
お椀がメインディッシュというのはやっぱりだしというところにたどり着くんじゃないかなと。コースの中にはたくさんお料理はあるわけですが、和食というのは一番基本なのはだしである。それを飲んでいただく。その中にはいろんな食材は入りますが、私がお料理に対してのお客さんに対する一番のこれぞというところはやっぱりだしを飲んでいただくイコールお椀じゃないかなというふうに考えてます。ケンちゃんのところね、まったけ名人がいるんで。
Japanese cuisine is a symphony of carefully orchestrated flavor, texture, and color that is seasonally appropriate. Great care is taken in its preparation so that the natural flavors and aromas are enhanced, never masked. And the delicately fragrant dashi is its foundation. Beautifully subtle, yet wielding the power of an empress.